Prasanna, before we start anything else, I need to know mutual fund or direct equity, direct into share market, which is a better option for today?
Well, for today, it is very difficult to convince a person to go for mutual funds, if you ask me, because the kind of experience that I have, and I've been interacting with a lot of my clients, and also the prospects rather. Clients do understand because I've been handling them for quite some time. But the prospects, since the markets are very bullish and they are able to make some good returns, it is very difficult for us to even look at a projection and considering the macro factors and how the economy is going to go from here. It becomes very difficult for us to really talk to a person who is investing into direct stocks and really ask them to start investing into mutual funds. See, mutual funds, I consider it this way: mutual funds is more like a test match, right? And stocks is more like, rather the direct equity is more like T20. So both are good. It's the same game, but the audience differs, in both of it. In a similar fashion, the approach that you have for direct stocks as well as mutual funds do vary a little, and it also depends on various goals and various other things that are very, very important for any individual. So if you directly ask me which one is better, both are good. For now, direct stocks are surely looking better in terms of the kind of returns that they give. So test match is good as well as T20, both are good.
Oh, ये बहुत बढ़िया था प्रसन्ना. That was fantastic.
Thank you.
अगर हम ये डिसाइड कर पाए अपने एंड पे whether we want to focus on T20 or test match or we want to have a combination of both, we need to first understand that. This was lovely. So let me introduce our guest for today. Is Prasanna Kumar, who is into wealth management for almost 15 plus years. He's got such a huge experience. He has worked with top class banks and runs his own wealth management firm in Visakhapatnam, Andhra Pradesh. And you don't know, many people don't know, I also have a little bit connection with Visakhapatnam. I started my schooling from there. Okay, coming to Prasanna, the guest for today. He runs his firm with the name of Wealth Financial. And you know what? He's an MBA in finance from ITC Business School, Bangalore. His firm manages fund for HNIs and ultra HNIs. और ये खुद एक registered mutual fund distributor हैं और इनका बहुत keen interest है in stock markets. He also does a lot of financial planning and other world markets. खास बात है जो प्रसन्ना के साथ है that he has conducted many seminars which are both offline, and he loves to educate people who want to understand the importance of investing. आज के टाइम पे सबसे बड़े हमारे एजुकेशन सिस्टम की जो मुझे लगता है वो प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व करते हैं प्रसन्ना. हमें इन्वेस्टिंग के बारे में स्कूल्स एंड कॉलेजेस में नहीं सिखाया जाता है. And Prasanna knows what he is doing there, right? Since he comes from a family of doctors, he understands the profession very well, and he imparts financial education to doctors, जिनके पास यूजुअली बहुत कम टाइम होता है इन सब चीजों को देखने के लिए, क्योंकि वो ज्यादा फोकस्ड होते हैं अपने काम के ऊपर देन मैनेजिंग देयर ओन इनकम एंड अदर थिंग्स, राइट? एंड ही मेक करेक्ट इन्वेस्टमेंट चॉइसेस for his clients as well. And what nobody knows about him is that he loves to play mridangam in his free time. Let me welcome, dashing like a movie star, Prasanna Kumar to my show today. Thank you so much, Prasanna.
Thank you so much
being with us.
For a lovely introduction. Appreciate it.
Perfect. So हम लोग बात कर रहे थे इक्विटी की and we were also talking about mutual funds, right?
Right.
So tell me one thing, Prasanna. इस मार्केट के लिए बेस्ट इन्वेस्टमेंट स्ट्रेटजी क्या है? We talked about T20, you talked about mutual funds, you talked about long term, you talked about short term, you talked about test match, right? आपने एक एनालॉजी दी जिससे हम चीजों को कनेक्ट कर सकें. आज की डेट में हमारे लिए बेस्ट इन्वेस्टमेंट स्ट्रेटजी क्या होनी चाहिए?
राइट. देखिए, सबसे पहले ये समझना है कि कोई भी इन्वेस्टर हो, कोई भी जहां पे भी इन्वेस्ट करे, नॉट नेसेसरी कि उसको स्टॉक मार्केट में ही इन्वेस्ट करना हो. अगर वो एफडी में कर रहा हो, और इफ इज डूइंग इट थ्रू म्यूचुअल फंड्स, और इफ इज डायरेक्टली प्लेइंग विद स्टॉक्स, और इफ इज इनटू बॉन्ड्स, व्हाटएवर सेड देन दैट, it is very clear that he is looking for a set amount of return, right? So now, when I clearly said before that it could be either a T20 game or it could be a test match, so दोनों के लिए अलग अलग रहेगा strategies. ठीक है, सबसे पहले अगर देखा जाए the T20 side of it, the direct stocks. Well, I mean, see, everybody has a way to identify stocks, all right? And I've actually been following your videos also, and you've been doing a good job by educating people as to how they should be selecting stocks and what are the kind of companies, and your reviews on few companies as well. So that's something that the especially the youngsters, I'll have to mention clearly, they need to understand all of those. In a bull market that we are seeing right now, it is quite evident, and it is clearly understood that most of the stocks are bound to do good. Okay, especially if you're looking at the stocks which are more relevant to the economy and the various other macro factors which come into the picture, like now we are talking about the PLI schemes and the companies which are going to benefit out of it. And we do have a lot of story happening in the large cap space, and we've seen the kind of run that we've seen in the mid and small caps recently has been really amazing. So जहाँ पे भी आप हाथ डालो आप बना रहे थे पैसा, तो क्या ये हर समय ऐसे ही रहेगा? I don't think so. Having said that, I'm not being pessimistic out here, क्योंकि मेरा the way that I trade is mostly to do with I actually trade what I see. So I don't make an assumption anywhere. But having said that, मेरा अपना analysis होता है macro levels का. Based on that, I take my view on a few stocks. So stocks का अगर बात किया जाए, that is a T20 game. Right now, where the markets are, there has been a lot of news going on that markets are overvalued, and I think this is the top, and people are trying to predict a lot of things. मेरे हिसाब से, if you ask me, I am a big fan of Mr. Ashwath Damodaran, who is a valuation guru, right? So he recently was mentioning that it's not about whether the valuations are too high or the valuations are too low. At the end of the day, the base effect plays a major role here. Because 2020 में हमने जरूर देखा है कि the economies were not working, lockdowns, everything that we have seen. So जिस कारण से यहाँ से अगर पहले 70 में थे, अब फिर 70 से हम लोग आगे तकरीबन 20-30 तक, और 20-30 से 100 पहुंचना is a different ball game. So that is one of the reasons why we have seen close to about 120% plus जहाँ पे निफ्टी ने ग्रो कर लिया है. So if you were a part and if you were having stocks at the right time, kind of picked up in March or April 2020 or even June, July के टाइम पे, अभी आपको सिर्फ उन स्टॉक्स के ऊपर अच्छे से बैठना पड़ेगा. ठीक है, अभी आपको फिर से चलो इसको चर्न करते हैं, नए स्टॉक्स में यहाँ पे प्रॉफिट करके कुछ नए स्टॉक्स में ट्राई करेंगे. अगर आपके पास अच्छे स्टॉक्स रेडी हों तो मुझे नहीं लगता कि आपको ज़्यादा कुछ उस पोर्टफोलियो में चेंज करने की ज़रूरत पड़ेगी. लेकिन अगर आपको नए या तो इफ यू आर जस्ट वांटिंग टू गेट इनटू बिल्डिंग अ न्यू पोर्टफोलियो, द स्टॉक पोर्टफोलियो, then you should be very clear in understanding the right stocks that you need to pick up. So uske liye you're doing a masterclass yourself, then I think that would be the right place where people can come participate and learn how to pick up stocks and all of it. So I leave that to you. Okay, and rahi baat the strategy for mutual funds. See, right now, as a firm, we are really not looking at taking any lump sum investments. Okay, not that we're being pessimistic or something, but we do understand that markets are surely a little on the higher side. They're surely a little stretched. Okay. Having said that, in a bull market, corrections do happen, and in those corrections, if you have to be a part, then we do suggest that investors go through the systematic transfer plan route. So that is one of the best strategies that they can look at than really looking at timing the market. जैसे कि कुछ लोग होते हैं जहाँ पे कहते हैं कि यार मैं 2% गिरने के बाद मैं अपने म्यूचुअल फंड में डाल देता हूँ, 3% गिरने के बाद मैं डाल देता हूँ. देखिए एवरेज डाउन करते जाएंगे, कहाँ तक करते जाएंगे, राइट? सो दैट इज वन, आई एम नॉट सेइंग इट इज रॉन्ग, बट दैट इज वन वे टू डू. बट हर किसी के पास उतना टाइम नहीं होता. कई लोग बिजनेस में रहते हैं, कई लोग सैलरीड हैं, कई लोगों का मीटिंग होता रहता है, ठीक है। अगर मार्केट उस टाइम पे अच्छा अपॉर्चुनिटी दे दिया हो और आपने उसको मिस कर दिया, फिर आप वेट करोगे उस अपॉर्चुनिटी को लेने के लिए। सो ऐसा नहीं चलता। तो इसी कारण से मैं क्या कहता हूँ, जो ऐसे बिजी रहते हैं, जितने क्लाइंट्स हमारे बिजी रहते हैं, सो वी टेल देम देन गो फॉर एन एसटीपी रूट दैट इटसेल्फ विल टेक केयर ऑफ द मार्केट मूवमेंट्स फॉर यू। सो दीज आर द वेरियस थिंग्स बोथ इन स्टॉक्स का अलग मैंने बात कर लिया है ऑलरेडी। With respect to mutual funds, I think this is presently something that we have to look at, and not to forget that SIPs have to be continued at any cost. अगर मार्केट ऊपर जा रहा हो, आपने पिछले 1-1.5 साल में अपने मार्केट में SIP कंटिन्यू किया है, अगर मान के चलिए अगर आपका व्यू ये है कि मार्केट अभी थोड़ा करेक्ट होने का है, अगर आपका व्यू वो है, तो आपको 100% आपके SIP कंटिन्यू करना चाहिए। अगर हो सके उसको बढ़ा दीजिएगा।
Wow, these were like nuggets of wisdom where प्रसन्ना आपने बात की PLI स्कीम से, you talked about म्यूचुअल फंड्स के लिए क्या स्ट्रेटजी होनी चाहिए, you also talked about that अगर हमने उस टाइम पे शेयर्स खरीदे हैं जब मार्केट्स एक्चुअली डाउन एंड डस्टेड थे, तो हमें उन पे बैठना आना चाहिए। That's one learning which I'm taking away today for sure. एक मेरा इंटरेस्टिंग सवाल है इसी से रिलेटेड, you talked about PLI स्कीम, बहुत सारे नए NFOs क्रिएट हो रहे हैं, नए फंड्स आ रहे हैं डिफरेंट फंड हाउसेस के। ऐसा कोई फंड आ रहा है which actually talk about China plus one and nothing else? I'm sure ये थोड़ा सा लाइटर साइड में, but just wanted to understand this also कि ऐसा भी कोई फंड आ रहा है फ्यूचर में which only works towards China plus one?
थोड़ा वो क्या होता है ना, मेरे हिसाब से, दैट्स माय पर्सनल व्यू, अगर ऐसा कुछ होगा वो पोर्टफोलियो कुछ ज्यादा स्क्यू हो जाए, right? So it is as good as any kind of a sectoral or a thematic kind of a fund, ठीक है। तो जब मैं पोर्टफोलियो को ज़्यादा ये ओनली फॉर PLI स्कीम लॉन्च करूँ, अभी मतलब कोई भी म्यूचुअल फंड हाउस लॉन्च करना चाहे, तो उसमें जिसका भी अच्छा खासा रिस्क एपेटाइट हो, वो लोग भी उसमें जाए। क्योंकि ना देखिए, PLI स्कीम में क्या है, it is good for the market, it is good for those companies who are ready to invest up to a certain level. When they are able to invest, उनका उतना इन्वेस्टमेंट है, कैपेक्स है, okay, and if they qualifying, only then they will be able to benefit from the PLI scheme, okay, it is good. But how about looking at portfolios जहाँ पे आपका not just the PLI scheme का एक म्यूचुअल फंड हो, but वो कंपनीज अगर नॉर्मल म्यूचुअल फंड में भी चल रहे हो, आपका डाइवर्सिफिकेशन तो मिलेगा। Why are we? I mean, that's my thought process. You know, why should we only look at a skewed PLI scheme? If that is, if something like that is coming up, then we should see as to what are the things that they're actually, what are the kind of companies that they're going to bring in into the fund. But अगर ऐसे NFO आ रहा हो, I personally would not go in for an NFO. I would still wait for for a PLI NFO, which you said, अगर आ जाए तो then I'll wait for the fund, see the kind of companies that they're investing into, and then take a fund. I'll not run behind the 10 rupees NAV NFO for sure.
Okay, so ये सवाल इसलिए आया था प्रसन्ना, क्योंकि 2007 में एक फंड रिलीज हुआ था and I invested and lost money in that, which was only focused on media and entertainment. I'll not name the fund house here. ठीक है, but you have been into the system and you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Hence this question came up.
Right.
Okay, I got your point. So I want to now understand that you have been working, you have a family of doctors, you know how doctors work, and wo
Right.
professional field ही है, yeah, similarly it's like more similar to lawyers also, right? I want to know how you make them understand investment, especially professionals like doctors, lawyers, इनके पास टाइम कम है, revenue income सही आ जाता है, and how do they should be managing it? How do you make them understand that part?
See, सबसे पहले let me tell you that my father was a doctor, so I do understand how difficult it is to even get the attention of a doctor. See, my experience says that doctors का जो है ना, उनका attention span कम होता है। उसका कारण क्या होगा? It is because the number of patients that they see. See, their job is to listen to problems, understand that. कोई भी इंसान नहीं चाहता कि मैं सिर्फ प्रॉब्लम सुनते जाऊं, ओके? वो एक ऐसा प्रोफेशन है, उनको सिर्फ प्रॉब्लम्स ही सुनना है, ठीक है? लोग आते हैं उनके पास सिर्फ सॉल्यूशंस मांगने, सॉल्यूशंस लेने के लिए, राइट? सो these people, when somebody else is speaking or and understand that by giving advice again and again and again to the patients, उनका हाल ऐसा हो जाता है ना, कोई सामने से कोई एडवाइस दे, I'm not saying that they're not ready to take it, I'm not generalizing it, but their profession is such that they cannot give so much time, okay? They have lower attention span. So what takes, and it is surely a very challenging task for me to reach out to doctors. So उसमें क्या होता है, we tend to deal with them, we try and understand if जहाँ पे भी उनके पास टाइम हो, like it could be even on a Sunday, in fact जब भी मैं I speak to doctors, it is mostly on Saturdays and Sundays, right? So उसमें क्या होता है, the doctor is able to spend decent amount of time. Now, can they understand finance really well? Okay, can they understand the markets really well? Can they understand the macro level really well? Can they understand what is the GDP? Can they understand what is a gross savings ratio of the country? Can they understand what is a yield? I don't think they would be able to understand all of it. A few of them are surely exceptions in every field, right? But it becomes very very difficult for us to make them understand. क्योंकि डॉक्टर्स ही नहीं, कोई भी आप इन्वेस्टर ले लीजिए, अगर कोई भी एडवाइजर जाके उनसे अगर कोई एक्सप्लेन करता है प्रोडक्ट को या सोल्यूशन दे रहा हो, एंड में वही पूछता है मुझे कितना मिलेगा, ठीक है? जब वो पूछता है कि मुझे कितना मिलेगा, वी आर नॉट गारंटिंग एनीथिंग, राइट? एज अ डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर वी डोंट गारंटी, मुझे ही छोड़ दीजिए ना, कोई भी फंड मैनेजर भी खुद गारंटी नहीं करता, राइट? So here we basically tell them the importance of having a very planned life. Okay, so why is it important for them to have a planned life? Because their incomes जो आते रहते हैं, see they only know मुझे टैक्स भरना है, मुझे टैक्स फाइलिंग करना है, मुझे ATC करना है, घर खरीद लिया, उसके लिए भी जो भी मेरे को इंटरेस्ट पे जितना भी मेरे को टैक्स में थोड़ी सी बेनिफिट मिलेगी, that's okay. These are the only things they know. But further, how can we educate them in terms of increasing their wealth? वहाँ पे we start with the basics, जहाँ पे we tell them why they should invest, इतना efforts that they put. The other day I think I have seen a lot of आजकल a lot of people are updating investments के ऊपर status messages and all of it. तो वहाँ पे भी लिखा है ना, let your money work while you are asleep and things like that, right? So we tell them how important it is for them to start deploying money. First, we understand their risk appetite. It is not only for doctors, for everyone. That is the first thing, and that is Bible for us whenever we deal with clients. So once we understand, we slowly initiate them into investments through a simple SIP route. Okay, we just tell them, आप पहले परख के देखिए मार्केट को. Don't expect that you are able to get huge returns, in the very next month that you've invested, or 2 months or 3 months time. In short, मैं अगर कहूँ तो डॉक्टर्स स्पेसिफिकली उस प्रोफेशन को समझना बहुत important है. एंड मैं तो in short to summarize and to keep things short, मैं कहूँगा कि you need to be very patient with doctors, right? Because उनका टाइम निकाल के देना बहुत मुश्किल होता है. जब भी हमको मौका मिलता है टू काउंसिल अ डॉक्टर, हम लोग उस मौके का बहुत फायदा उठा लेते हैं एक साथ. When I'm saying बहुत फायदा उठा लेते हैं, it's not about business, it is about कितना हम लोग इम्पार्ट कर सकते हैं उस टाइम में, ठीक है? तो रही बात बिजनेस की, वो चलता रहेगा. Once any individual is understanding our point of view and is convinced, irrespective of the profession that they belong, I don't think it's going to be a big task for us to reconnect with them, right? So especially with doctors, बहुत पेशेंट बनना पड़ेगा उनके साथ. एंड सही टाइम, बिकॉज मैं कह रहा था थोड़ी देर पहले, मतलब उस टाइम पे कट हो गया था कि डॉक्टर्स में भी देन यू हैव कंसल्टेंट्स, यू हैव सर्जन्स, राइट? सो वी कैन नॉट रियली रीच आउट टू द क्लाइंट जहाँ पे अगर वो सर्जरी कर रहे हो और मैं फ़ोन लगाऊँ, कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ उनको बोलना चाहिए होगा, देन इफ आई एम अनेबल टू रीच, राइट? उस कारण से फ्रॉम आवर फर्म वी यूजुअली टेल द डॉक्टर्स नॉट टू गेट इनटू डायरेक्ट इक्विटी, बिकॉज डायरेक्ट इक्विटी में कभी कभी हाल ऐसा हो जाता है कि हमको अगर उनके स्टॉक से अगर बोले कि देखिए वी आर नॉट इन स्टॉक एडवाइजरी, ओके, but if they have an existing stock and if they're dealing with or they do have some stock, they would have probably asked us कि इस स्टॉक को थोड़ा ट्रैक करिएगा, अगर कुछ कभी मौका मिले तो बताइए वगैरह जो भी है। इफ वी ट्राई टू रीच देम आउट एंड उस टाइम पे सर्जरी कर रहे हो, आई डोंट वांट टू बी इन दैट पोजीशन, सर मैंने आपको फोन लगाया था और आपने फोन नहीं उठाया, राइट? सो बिकॉज ऑफ विच we clearly tell doctors not to get into direct stocks. Okay, it is best that they go to the mutual fund route, jahan pe you have a professional who is dealing really well with your money. Okay, and I think outsourcing with respect to the knowledge is the best thing to do. For that, mutual funds is the best route.
एक बात बताओ मुझे viewers, but before I ask anything further to Prasanna, like and subscribe to this channel so that इस टाइप के बेहतरीन वीडियोस, प्रसन्ना जैसे सुपरस्टार्स हमारे चैनल पे रेगुलरली जब भी आए आपको उनका नोटिफिकेशंस आता रहे। सो प्रसन्ना, आपने बात की थी, यू स्टार्टेड विद डॉक्टर्स, ठीक है, फिर आपने हमें समझाया, उसको थोड़ा सा जनरलाइज किया कि कुछ सिचुएशंस होती है जो सभी के ऊपर लागू होती हैं, स्पेशली व्हेन दे नीड टू टेक सर्टेन डिसीजंस, स्पेशली जब भी आप इन्वेस्टमेंट स्टार्ट करें तो उससे पहले अपनी कुछ चीजों को क्लैरिफाई कर लें। सो आई वांटेड टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज द बेसिक थिंग्स one should get covered, like maybe different kinds of insurance, emergency funds, especially मैं इस टाइम पे इसलिए बात करना चाह रहा हूँ क्योंकि there have been families where both husband wife they had been working and are today out of job for almost 15 to 18 months.
Right.
So ऐसी सिचुएशन में आप क्या सजेस्ट करते हो to everyone?
Right. See, financial planning का अपना एक pyramid होता है, ठीक है? तो pyramid में when you look at, the first thing that one needs to take care of is covering your uncertainties, ठीक है? तो देखिए उसमें भी when I'm talking about uncertainties, it is not necessarily insurance. जैसे आपने कहा है one needs to have emergency fund. मेरा एक्सपीरियंस बताता है कि लोग इमरजेंसी फंड के बारे में जरूर बात करते तो हैं, but nobody sticks to it. Let us call a spade, ठीक है? There are many, maybe there are a few who are able to maintain those emergency funds. Okay, क्योंकि जैसे आप the name suggests emergency funds, what can be the emergency for anyone? Okay, most of the emergencies that can come up, it could be okay for health reasons, right? I mean that's the reason why we talk about emergency funds. अगर कोई नौकरी अपना if a person who is working, for him अगर नौकरी नहीं रही, then how is he able to take care of his family? Okay, so these are the main two things because of which one needs to maintain emergency funds. But unfortunately, what I have seen out of my experiences, not many people maintain it. Though they know they have to maintain, they don't want to take it very seriously. Okay, but the good thing that has happened with respect to this part is COVID did teach what emergency is all about. Okay, क्योंकि क्या होता है ना, किसी के साथ ऐसा हो सकता है कि मेरी नौकरी बच गई, ठीक है, मेरे एक दोस्त की नौकरी निकल गई वहां पे, तो उसको देख के आई हैव लर्नड दैट यार मुझे कुछ इमरजेंसी फंड्स मेंटेन करना बहुत जरूरी होता है। एंड कोविड आल्सो टॉट हाउ इम्पोर्टेंट इट इज टू हैव हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस। ओके, इस बात पे आई वुड लाइक टू टेल यू एंड ऑफ कोर्स योर व्यूअर्स एंड whoever is watching this video a very important thing कि बहुत लोग क्या करते हैं कि जब मैं उनके साथ काउंसलिंग करता रहता हूँ, कहते हैं कि मेरी कंपनी मेरे को कवर करती है, ठीक है? तो देखिए, अदर देन एनी गवर्नमेंट जॉब, कोई और कंपनी आपको कवर कर रही है, ठीक है? इसमें दो प्रकार की है। आपकी कंपनी अगर हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस में दे आर कवरिंग यू, योर फैमिली, ओके, विच मीन्स प्रिसाइसली यू, योर वाइफ, योर चिल्ड्रन, ओके, दैट इज वन पार्ट. And if a company is also covering for your parents, okay, then मेरा सजेशन उनके लिए यही रहता है कि आपके कंपनी का जो भी है अपने पेरेंट्स के लिए रख लीजिए, ठीक है? और even if the company is not covering your parents, okay, and I would still suggest that you have a health insurance of your own outside of your company, क्योंकि आप उस कंपनी के साथ कब तक जुड़े रहोगे किसी को नहीं पता। और बाय देन अगर आप किसी कंपनी में 6-7 साल काम कर चुके हैं और आपको कंपनी कवर अच्छे से कर रही है, लेकिन किसी ना किसी टाइम के बीच में अगर आपको डायबिटीज हो गया हो, अगर आपको हाइपरटेंशन हो गया हो, अगर आपको और कोई एलिमेंट हो रहा हो, ठीक है, देन कंपनी तो आपको कवर कर ली, लेकिन आप जब बाहर आएंगे आपको कोई कवर देने के लिए 2 बार सोचता है। in order to avoid it, it is always good that you have some minimum cover from outside of your company, which really would kind of help you at the time that you require it, right? So that is on the health insurance, where COVID really did teach us कि एक health insurance होना बहुत जरूरी होता है. Number the next, the bottom of the pyramid की मैं बात कर रहा हूँ, is mostly to do with your uh, term insurance. Okay, so term insurance के लिए भी see internal to our firm we follow a certain process. You know, we don't really talk about आप face trading करके आपको इतना करोड़ का आपका cover होना चाहिए. We go in a very scientific manner. We undergo that process and then we come out with a proper cover that a client should have. We also go to such an extent to tell them if they are overloaded with insurance. We also tell them to shed insurance. Right, so that is how one has to really look at you know, the insurance part. And mind you, out here I would like to suggest, I wouldn't say suggest, but I would like to mention that linking your investment and insurance is actually not a good idea. Okay, so beyond this, I don't think I should say much about it. Okay, then comes आपके savings के part. Okay, well, savings कितना रहना है, you know, a lot of people have already spoken, you know, they have their own ratios. आपको 30-30, you know, 30 and 10, कुछ ratios, you know, there are some thumb rules also. Okay, but whatever savings that you're doing right now, this should take care of various factors, you know, that पहले ये सब हो गया, आपकी कमाई आ गई, कमाई में आपको आपके अपने अगर किसी के पास घर हो, EMIs होंगे, ठीक है, अगर उन्होंने लोन पे लिया हुआ हो तो EMIs होंगे, then you have your own खर्चा. Okay, I know the rule, I know people talk about you know, your income minus savings should be your expenditure, but practically I have seen that though people talk about it, कितने लोग उसको implement कर रहे हैं is what I am more bothered about. Okay, ज़्यादा लोग implement नहीं कर पा रहे हैं क्योंकि उनके पास जो ये जो चीज़ आया है मिस्टर वॉरेन बफेट का, is that it had come in between for them. Okay, उन्होंने ऑलरेडी लोन ले लिया है और उसके बाद वो बता रहे कि भैया आप पहले सेव कर लो, बाद में लोन लो. उनके साथ हो चुका है. So I don't think they would be fitting into that. But of course, after they finish off with their loan or kind of planned for an early closure of the loan, maybe at that point in time they can fit into the scheme of things. Having said that, आपको if you have a family and if you are a salaried person or even if you're a businessman, even if you're a professional, ensure that you have a plan in place. You do have a financial plan in place. You do ensure that your goals are taken care of. The first thing, you know, what we do is we bifurcate the goals into discretionary and non-discretionary in nature, and we ensure that, you know, जहाँ पे भी client का saving होना चाहिए. So we do, you know, the comprehensive financial plans and all of it, right? So as a part of it, we surely tell them first get your insurance, emergency funds done. Then, you know, you get into understand your cash flow statements, and then we, you know, it's a different process altogether. Then we cater to their goals. We understand. We counsel. We share the best practices in the market. You know, because I do come with a decent amount of experience from the market. जहाँ पे you know, I work for good banks. I work for a financial planning company as well. So, and after having interacted with a lot of clients, we also learn. You know, we don't say that, you know, we're perfect, but we are all ears for very good ideas, and we share the best practices. जहाँ पे एक client का नजरिया बदल सकता है, ठीक है? तो client का नहीं, हमारा भी नजरिया बदलता रहता है कभी-कभी, क्योंकि you know, everybody is learning, you know, in today's world, right? So that's how it is. And then comes आपके जो investment की बात होती है, okay? जहाँ पे the deployment of your money has to happen to your respective goals. अगर आप wealth creation की ही बात कर रहे हो, okay? See, I am only talking about those people who are in the middle class category and, you know, who have to cater to their goals, etc. No, it is not. It is not like that. Any person even in the HNI categories, they also do have goals, right? They also need to protect their goals. They also need to protect their families, okay? Because life has become so uncertain that they have to at least to know, even if they don't have to plan investing, at least they need to know whether they can take care of their goals with whatever they have today. That is also planning. इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट कि मैं जानूं कि मेरे पास जो जेब में अभी 100 रुपया है, ये मेरे लिए काफी है कि नहीं है। अगर बाद में मुझे फिर से भूख लगेगी, ठीक है, मैं फिर खा सकता हूँ कि नहीं खा सकता, वो तो जानना चाहिए। एटलीस्ट टू रियलाइज वेयर यू स्टैंड, वेदर यू आर एबल टू टेक केयर ऑफ योर फ्यूचर, दैट इज ऑल्सो पार्ट ऑफ प्लानिंग, राइट? सो दैट्स हाउ आपने कहा इंश्योरेंस और वहां से कहाँ कहाँ मैं पहुंच गया। बट हाँ, इंश्योरेंस के बारे में मैंने काफी टाइम स्पेंड किया। इट इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट द वे दैट आई जस्ट मेंशन टू यू।
और दिस वाज सो डिटेल्ड एंड सो क्लियर एंड आपने शुरुआत की, मैंने स्पेसिफिकली जो पूछा वहां से आपने शुरुआत की, और उसके बाद आपने पूरा पिरामिड ऑफ फाइनेंशियल प्लानिंग और उसकी इंपॉर्टेंस भी हमें साथ साथ समझाई। और जो एक चीज आज मैं किसी अपने एक फ्रेंड के साथ डिस्कस करना था, शी शेयर्ड मी समथिंग इंटरेस्टिंग। उसने मुझे बोला, राहुल, एफडी हमें 3 to 5% बैंक रिटर्न दे रहा है, इन्फ्लेशन 7% से ज्यादा है, आप माइनस में जी रहे हो, और आप उस इंटरेस्ट पे जो आपको बैंक से मिल रहा है उस पे आप टैक्स भी पे करते हो, राइट?
करेक्ट।
एंड अनफॉर्चुनेटली वी इंडियंस एक्चुअली स्टिल कीप ऑन डूइंग द सेम थिंग एंड द सेम थिंग, राइट? हमारी प्रॉब्लम, मुझे जितना लगता है, ये है, आई एम नॉट अ फाइनेंशियल प्लानर एट ऑल, बट मुझे जो एक छोटी सी चीज समझ में आई है वो ये है, वी don't want to pay someone else for these kind of guidance. हम वो थोड़ा अमाउंट एक फाइनेंशियल प्लानर को पे कर दें, जो हमारी ये छोटी छोटी प्रॉब्लम्स जो बाद में जाके बहुत बड़ी बन जाती हैं, उनको अगर शुरू में ही हमारे लिए सॉर्ट आउट कर देगा। हमें गोल, आपने बहुत सारी चीजें गोल बेस्ड इन्वेस्टिंग के हिसाब से बोली, राइट? उन सब चीजों को अगर वो कवर कर देगा, हमें समझ में आ जाएगा वी शुड एक्चुअली थोड़ा बहुत अमाउंट एफडी में बनता है, बट वी कैन एक्चुअली मूव आउट आवर मनी, invest where we can have great returns coming in.
Yeah, absolutely,
right? And I think these points are absolutely spot on for this. Thank you so much, Prasanna, for coming online. Before we end, any closing statements from your side?
Well, I mean, I would just like to say that people should start investing into the markets. When I'm saying this, अपने risk appetite को बिल्कुल compromise ना करें। अगर आपका रिस्क एपेटाइट सिर्फ इतना ही कहता है कि मैं एफडीज में रहूं, आप उसी में रहिएगा। जैसे आप पहले कह रहे थे कि एफडीज, अगर आई एम ऑन अ नेट नेगेटिव रिटर्न, ओके, बट इफ यू अंडरस्टैंड ओनली दैट, आई रियली कांट पुश यू टू आप आ जाओ ना, मैं आपके लिए कमा के दिखाता हूँ, वो वैसा नहीं होना चाहिए, ठीक है? सो अपना रिस्क एपेटाइट के साथ स्टिक कर लीजिए। If your risk appetite says that you can even take some 10-15% exposure into the markets, take the calculated risk, whatever it is. Bond markets are equally risky. Okay, so that is a different topic, and I can go hours and hours on bond markets. But it is very very important to participate in the market, and सबसे ज़्यादा market में participate करना is as good as participating in the growth of the economy. Okay, so for you to make money, be a part. Because if today you are a businessman, you are a employee, you are contributing towards the GDP, right? When you are contributing towards GDP, invest in yourself, invest in the country, right? Of course, there are opportunities elsewhere also. You can also start investing there, but उसका appetite अलग होना चाहिए। उसके लिए थोड़ा macro level अलग से समझना जरूरी होता है। But if you have still not started investing, I think you should start investing, through a route that you can actually understand, so आप अपना risk appetite पे बिल्कुल ही compromise मत कीजिए, because the reason why I'm stressing on this, Rahul, is because I've come across clients who are moderately aggressive, yeah, even to a certain extent conservative also. They are close to 80 to 90% of their money is into equity. I've come across those kind of investors as well. मैं उनको जितना भी मैं एसेट एलोकेशन का समझाता हूँ, it becomes very painful because markets are like that. Markets आपको बता रहे हैं कि नहीं ये और भागेगा, मैं जो कर रहा हूँ सही कर रहा हूँ, बट मेरा ये कहना है that it is giving a cushion to your portfolio is important, it is as good as maintaining your emergency fund that we were discussing previously. So very simple. Go with your go only as per your risk appetite, and asset allocation पे जरूर ध्यान देना. This is what I think I would like to conclude with.
थैंक यू सो मच प्रसन्न, बहुत 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 बेहतरीन, बड़ा मजा आया आज आपसे बात करके. विल डेफिनेटली हैव यू बैक ऑन आवर शो आफ्टर सम टाइम. ठीक है, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर टुडे.
Thank you, Rahul. Take care.